What do you think about this, Mike? 18-game season, man. You called this shit.
I did call this shit a long time ago. They first started rumbling about it last year that Roger Goodell wants an 18-game season. And the players are not going to just accept that. They're going to have to get a lot in return because the majority of the players do not want this. Howie Long described playing an NFL game once as like being run over by a car every Sunday. And you're asking them to be run over by a car another day of the week, right? So they're going to want a lot in return for this. An extra preseason game just seems like a total no-brainer. But for the last couple of weeks, Russ, I've been trying to work this out in my brain. How are you going to get each team to get 2 buys? And I love Joe Burrow's suggestion of putting the Pro Bowl right in the middle of the season. Everyone gets it off. No way in hell that happens. You heard it here from Main Event Mike. No way that happens. We're talking about billions of dollars that they would lose to develop that Pro Bowl and develop. I mean, that first year would be a disaster for them. Maybe in the long term, they could make that profitable. But last year was the first time the Pro Bowl was even watchable, and it wasn't even a game. It was just a bunch of games. But the first time a guy blows out an ankle because he's trying to catch a football on a unicycle, that's going to be the end of that. All right? That's the end of that. And they're not going to do that, even though it's a great sentiment, Joe Burrow. What they are going to do is possibly, I've heard some rumblings on satellite radio yesterday, maybe they do an alternating division has a bye. Like the NFC North has a bye this week and the NFC South has a bye that week. And then they still do the regular bye. But the main thing about this isn't even really about the 18 games or the extra bye. This is about pushing the schedule back to President's Day for a holiday weekend. You only need one more week to get there. They keep pushing the Super Bowl further and further and further. It started out right in January. Then it became the first week in February for a few years. Now it's in the second week of February. They just keep moving it back. So this extra game will create more revenue and push it to that holiday weekend that Roger Goodell wants so badly.
When you brought it up the way that you brought it up, it does make a lot of sense that it isn't going to happen. Because if you just look at it like the whole week off, right? You're right in the middle of the season, right? And you announced the Pro Bowl. I think they could develop a really nice Pro Bowl that isn't is guys riding on a unicycle and get injured. That would suck. But it's like the alternative is just watching a shitty Pro Bowl game that doesn't mean anything, that nobody really wants, that nobody's really going to go hard in, that nobody's cares. Nobody cares. That's a disaster. The Pro Bowl has been a disaster for years. And I don't think in the middle of the season, and it's just my opinion. I mean, I could be wrong on this too, but in the middle of the season, like when you're in the middle of a playoff run, all eyes are on that Pro Bowl game. It actually puts more eyes onto the Pro Bowl game. You got football coming the next season. You see all your favorite guys that, made the Pro Bowl doing the unicycles, doing the photo ops.
The most watched sport in the world has the least watched all-star game of all of the sports. Even hockey's all-star game gets better ratings than the Pro Bowl. So maybe they would want to pump that up, but that's after the season, right? I mean,
but that's why, right?
It's like getting in a car wreck every week. And now you want me to go to Hawaii and catch a football on a unicycle when I'm supposed to be locked in on the playoffs. My focus is supposed to be winning this division. You only get 17 games or 18 games soon. That's all you get. You cannot afford to take a Pro Bowl break in the middle of the season. Those players would rather stay home with their families in the middle of the season with an extra bye week than go out to Las Vegas and jump on a trampoline. Okay? So it's a pipe dream. That's never going to happen. But they are going to go to 18 games, and the players are going to get something in return, and that probably will be one of the concessions will be an extra bye week.
But you've definitely done your research on that part because you're convincing me. Because you start thinking like these billionaires, which, when you're poor, you don't really get to think like that very much. But when you really think about it, it's like, what do billionaires like more than money? More money. And less money is putting a bye week in the middle of the season during that time. And you make a great point there with the guys not being locked in. Like if you take a chance of that veering off and all of a sudden your team is in shambles because you're thinking about this or that, or you fell off the unicycle or whatever happens.
You know, another good point about the 18-game season, Russ, is the collective bargaining agreement where the league and the Players Association get together doesn't happen again until 2030. But don't think for a minute that they're going to wait that long to move to 18 games. We will see it before that. They will call a special meeting of the collective bargaining agreement. They'll probably give that a year of lead time. So we might see them set that date this year to convene maybe at the owners' meeting next year where they'll vote on it. They are not going to wait another 6 years before Roger Goodell puts this in place. That's just more revenue, which is going to increase his own salary.
Yeah, we definitely agree on that part right there. Like there's zero chance that it's going to go to 2030. No chance. So what do you think out there? We're talking about the 18-game schedule that Roger Goodell's out there, tooting his horn for. What do you think about that?